It's not uncommon for the fire inside a steam locomotive's firebox to burn hotter than the melting point of the firebox material itself. Now you might think this might cause the firebox to melt, but for some reason that I still don't really understand, it doesn't. Because there's a water jacket around it which takes the heat out, and it boggles my mind. But anyway, the water jacket is able to stop the firebox from melting. So that's fine as long as you've got the water around the boiler, around the firebox. But this water is connected to the boiler, it's just part of the boiler. So obviously as you use the water in the boiler, the water level goes down, and so the water jacket goes down. And this means that if your boiler is too empty, it hasn't got enough water in it, then the water jacket isn't able to take enough heat away from the actual metal of the firebox. And so what you'd expect to happen then is that the firebox melts. And that's what would happen if there weren't little lead plugs in the firebox that separates the water from the fire. So you've got a sheet of metal here, it's firebox, fire here, you got your water, and then you've got plugs through it which can melt, and obviously because they're lead, it's got a relatively low melting point, they will melt before the steel or copper of the firebox, and so all the steam and water will suddenly go from the high pressure boiler into the firebox and put out the fire to stop them being seriously permanent damage done to the locomotive, which is a brilliant system apart from one small flaw, which is quite often what happens is it doesn't just put out the fire, it actually just moves the fire backwards out into the cab where the crew are. So this really, if you just ignore the fact that you're going to have to send a locomotive in for extensive repairs, the crew will be in significant danger if they allow this to happen. So generally speaking, this isn't general practice.